I thank Dr. Tanisha, Dr. Partha, Dr. Sani for giving me this opportunity to interact with the intellectuals. Intellectuals of all nations of India, probably, from the southern part, from the eastern part, from the northern part. And that too on a topic which is probably the need of the hour today. Before going to the topic, Dr. Sani said that I should tell you something regarding myself, so I will be taking 3 minutes or 4 minutes to give you a boring this thing that how I started my career. I'm a medical graduate, not MD sir, I'm a medical graduate only, MBBS, and passed out from Ludhiana in the year 1981-82. 1 year I served in civil hospital over there. But since my family, the industrial background, we were having Munjal Cycle Industries in Ludhiana. I was the only medical person in whole of my family, from a very average family. I decided one day that this is not my cup of tea because I am a basic average person and I cannot do my post-graduation because of the financial circumstances. If I will be continuing my medical profession, either I will be retiring as a person from the civil hospital only, or I will be ending up my GP practice. That is the maximum I can do. Few of my friends and we decided together to come into a pharmaceutical industry. We thought and we started. It was in the year 83, May 83 rather you can say, we started the pharmaceutical industry with the name Inchip Pharmaceuticals Private Limited. With just 10,000 rupees, and that is a saving for my hospital earning for about 1 year. At that time my salary was about 1900 rupees, including the NPA, that is non-practicing allowance. So whatsoever I could able to save in the 1 year selling my motorcycle on that time, I'm giving you absolute blunt, and that's how we came to Chandigarh from Ludhiana. I'm a graduate from Dayanand Medical College. With just 10,000 rupees from everybody, it's not me but all other 3-4 friends. I was in the age group of 24 years on that time. We started and for about continuously from 83 onward till 91. That was a period I cannot forget. It was all struggle period. 4 person having a single scooter coming on foot from the factory 5 kilometers morning, evening, traveling all across India, settling down. I myself traveled each and every nook and corner of India. You talk about Kerala, Kanyakumari, you talk about Kashmir, you talk about Assam, you talk about anywhere. Then all the villages, all the areas I have traveled myself and settled all the distribution network, the stockist network, and the PSR networks myself. Till 91, it was a period that one day we were thinking we should close down and go back and start doing our practice. And one day we were just thinking, no, go ahead, yeah. The time will come, will be success. And 91 onward, yes, definitely. And we started seeing some golden days. And 94 we came to the public limited. And that time our shares oversubscribed by more than 52 times. That was a history created on that time. And since that time onward till now, probably with God's grace, we have not looked backward. We diversified into so many other lines apart from pharma. In 95, we gone for the backward integration because we were into the formulation business, that is finished dosage form. And then in 95 we opened Inchip Laboratories, that is for the blood drug. And in today we are in the world, we are number 2nd in clarithromycin production, that's an antibiotic. We are number 2nd in LLestanol, that is again a drug for threatened abortion. Then you must have, because we are all in the age group, middle age group, so the cholesterol levels are always high in our cases. Atorvastatin is a drug. We are number second in the world in atorvastatin. We are number second in the world in fexofenadine, that is anti-allergic. And almost in 40 countries our export. With our technical support, we are giving the formulation support as well. And in 2002-3, we entered into the further diversification, which is altogether different than pharma. We entered into the printing. That is, we started with a new name, that is Mansa Prints and Publishers. We are into the printing of mono cartoons. That is also, we thought of a backward integration for our own printing cell, for our own packaging. But then we thought of why not we make that also a profit center. So we entered into the stationery division as well. And with the name Mansa Specialty for corporate school stationery, all these copies, books and all these things. At the same time, then we entered into the publication division, and we are running now more than 7 publications: industrial, academic, research and pharmaceutical. With Institute Communications Private Limited, we entered into the infrastructure with Regalia Tower as the first maiden project. We made 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom and penthouses, and coming into the motels and resorts in that sector, that Institute Lands Limited. And lately we entered into education. That is, last year we started SWIFT Fundamental Research and Education in Rajpura, that is 45 kilometers from this place, and we started with the, again, backward integration pharmacy education. Now here come why industry academia interface is required, or badly required rather I will say. Because we were not getting the product, we thought of why not to produce our own product. So that is how we started the education. Where now we have a plan. We started with the pharmacy, we started with the nursing last year. This year we have added BBA, BCA, and next year we are adding engineering, polytechnic, dental, medical. And medical we are coming with the Himachal state government and a PPP model government. Where we are tying up only medical tourism and buying the patients from the other countries. Of course, India as well. So this is in total, and today turnover about more than 1,200 crores last year, and we have closed. We are aspirating 5,000 crores in another 3 years down the line. This is in total nutshell. Coming back to the subject, industry entrepreneur interface relationship, which is why the need of our today, because everybody out of us knows that we are now a global part from 2005 onward. Although our products are already available, you talk about Oxford, you talk about NASA, you talk about any developed country and developed nation, more than 37, 38 or 40% of Indian stuff, Indian product is available over there, and they are doing wonders. I'll say, you talk about NASA, more than 40% strength in NASA is India, India's product. That means our basic education is fantastic. Without doubt, our English speaking, our basic education structure, it's fantastic. But every flower has got thorns as well. It's fantastic, but it's theoretical. That's why our persons, when they are going abroad, because in India, that infrastructure is not available, with which we can fulfill the aspiration of the young generations today. And that's why everybody eyeing America, London, Europe and all those things, because the financial rupee value difference is also very high. At the same time, opportunities are very many over there. But even then, our product, when we go out, it has to pass through some bridge studies. We talk about medical, we talk about scientific, we talk about R&D. And after clearing those bridge studies, only then they are allowed to perform over there. Theoretical base is there, bridging studies are there, and practical opportunities they are getting over there. So that's a combination of win-win situation, and that's why they excel. And moreover, they are English speaking. So we are better than Chinese, Japanese and Koreans. Otherwise, all the 3 Asians, they are in race with each and every, as far as the technology part is concerned, the technology development what these three countries are having, we are nowhere near by that. But because of their language gaps or language this thing, they are not worldwide players. Why the opportunities are not in India? One is, of course, we'll not talk about there, that's the political and financial infrastructure, that's a different part and different forum we should talk. But here, the gap between the industry and academy, that's quite big. We are now independent more than 16 years. But still, I think I was talking to Dr. Bhumika, he was giving one example that two young lovers, they are there, they want to talk to each other, they want to show their love to each other, but nobody speaks. Everybody thinks that he will speak or she will speak first. And then I said, मैंने कहा वो होता यही है जी, बाद में वो पति बनने की जगह मामा बन के रह जाते हैं. So it's the same relationship in industry and academia. This thing, academia in India, they create. That's a crux of the discussions. They create, and industry, they commercialize that creation. If I'm not wrong. But the gap between these two, industry and academia, give way to the product that commercialization takes place somewhere else. It's not in India. But probably you are discussing it, what recommendation Dr. Saab has just said, probably more or less, I told down those recommendations only. I must appreciate that we are, as far as the discussion part is concerned, we are on the straight and right track. But the only thing is, strategies and implementation, there's a lot of gap and difference. We can discuss, debate, strategize, plan, but how and when we are going to implement those? Today, because of the infrastructure, because of the education standards, which is going instead of going above or up, it's going degraded. Maybe because of our system. Many times we have heard in the paper and PTU regarding Punjab Technical Universities and all that. 3.5 lakh students they are having. They don't know how to set the paper, how to check the paper. Total 7 number of faculty members are there which are controlling 3.5 lakh students' fate. Now what is this education system we should talk about? What type of product we are going to produce? Because every year, if you all agree with me, I talk about Punjab, but South is also on the very high note. Every year they are giving recommendation that AICT is giving recommendations to more than 50, 60, 70 institutes for training, for nursing, for engineering, for any type of the educations. But the question is, are we having the facilities to teach those students? Okay, we are giving the approvals to all those institutes that you come out. We are rather playing with the fate of the new products without checking. Just this is a trust. These are the persons, and these are the faculties they have hired. I don't know whether those faculties are going to live with them or not. Everybody is just, आज की डेट में everybody is just only on one side, how to make money. Nobody is taking care of the students of future. Where today industry required a person, because of today's demand, are ready for the industry. We don't have time that we should give 6 months training or 1 year training to a person. Nobody has got time today. Although there are big industries, those who have training houses, we always give selections, first as a training officer, then confirmation, then probation, and then confirmation and all those things. Many students are coming, Our HRD department, we call for interviews. For a single post, we got the application of 500 students or 500 persons. And sometimes it happens that we couldn't able to end up even a single selection out of that 500. It's practically happening with us. I give you a live example. We have about 3 or 4 industries in Himachal. Himachal government have got stipulations that if you want to have an industry in Himachal, your 70% employees should be from Himachal. Now, pharmaceutical industry needs all B.Pharm, M.Pharms and even QA, QC, MSc, PSCs, microbiologists and all those things. Total Himachal, there are 395 now pharmaceutical industry in Himachal. Almost more than 70% of the pharmaceutical produce of India is from Himachal and Uttarakhand. How many graduates we get from Himachal? No one. We tried hard. I had many meetings with Ms. Veerbhadra Singh and then Ms. Dhumal. I said, you are not producing that, you are not having that infrastructure, the education base, and at the same time you have got a political stipulation that 70% Himachali should be there. You give us, we are ready to take. They said, go to the employment exchange, put your notice over there. I said, we have done now from the last 3 years we are doing it. And I am having industry in Himachal for the last 10 years. So I don't know how many product you are having for our industry. Considering that and considering all these problems of political and all those things, I started my own institute. That was the first SWIFT institute where I gave advertisements only in Himachal that all 10 plus 2 students, I gave them 6 months training to become an operator in pharmaceutical industry. And that's how we produce 6 batches in that case, 60 each. And at least we try to fill our own stomach by giving them employment in all our 11 units. Considering all these problems of political and all those things, I started my own institute. That was the first SWIFT institute where I gave advertisements only in Himachal that all 10 plus 2 students, I gave them 6 months training to become an operator in pharmaceutical industry. And that's how we produce 6 batches in that case, 60 each. And at least we try to fill our own stomach by giving them employment in all our 11 units. So that's how we are producing. And why I was talking this thing, the gap between industry and the requirement from academics. Recommendation by Dr. Shah is there that there should be an industry ready product. How it can be possible? It can be possible if all academic institutes, they should have one industry representative. Supposing one academic institute, I'll say that we are going to do the same in our institute. I'll give you the example later, that if I'm running a technical course, I'll talk about related companies. For the companies I'm producing, I'm making that product. Just to give them a proposal that this is the product, this is the technical applications I'm going to give. What you need for your industry. Theoretical, okay, we are fine enough, our curriculum is there, everything is there, the product is fit globally for that, but practically, what practical aspect you want to have in the product, which should be industry ready. Then you will get lot many input from the industry representative, from HR part of the industry, that what exactly they, if they want to appoint or employ a mechanical engineer, suppose, a mechanical engineer for automobile industry. So they will give you a particular that for automobile industry, this is mechanical engineer, these things he should know before even entering into the industry. As a mechanical engineer, your curriculum is very good, but whether that is good for that particular industry, whether that mechanical engineer is good for the pharmaceutical industry, utility department, whether that mechanical engineer is good for that cement industry. So we are to see that which industry, suppose a batch of 50 is there, you just ask those 50 what are their aspirations, which line they want to choose. Having that in your mind, just talk about those industries. That I have got a product of 50 batches which is ready after 5 years. These are the students, those who want aspire to come into your line. What exactly you need? So you will be having lot many information from the industry. That should be a part of your curriculum. And then you should decide that course, depending on that product and student, that which industry you want to send them into. If he is interested in automotive, if he is interested in any other industries, chemical industries, pharmaceutical industry or cement industry, whatsoever it is, which industry you want to go into. In India, every industry is now developing. And in the next 10 years, you will be seeing unimaginable growth in the industrial sector. Lot many industries which are coming now, which are on the threshold entering India, and lot many Indian companies those who are coming up. Lot many new ventures. You talk about retail management, you talk about anything, banking sector, insurance sector, like lot many, everywhere the development is going. Now, based on that, adding that industrial part into your curriculum, and then your industrial representative should be allowed to come to assess once in 6 months, once in 1 year, or mid-term, anyway, you have 4 साल का है, so after 2 years he can assess whether the growth and the prospects are there for the products and all. In examinations as well. So that is how probably, and don't mind my words, we have to shed our egos to understand each other. That is a major thing. There may be ego from the industry, there may be ego from the educationalist. That we should set separately to come on a single platform, because what basically we are doing, apart from developing our own industry, our own nations, we are developing youth of India. And I read in today's paper, one of the 10th students, they have written a fantastic poem on a teacher. That how much time God took to produce and develop a teacher. That was 1:10. If God made the world in 1 minute, He took 10 minutes to make one teacher. Now that was so fantastic a poem. I forgot, I could have taken it over here and read it, but it was fantastic. So that means we as academician, we as teacher, we are there to develop the product which tomorrow may be Amazon, or maybe George Bush, or maybe Obama, or maybe Musharraf as well. So whatsoever it is. But for every person, those who have got something to tell, the teacher is always behind. Although today we may remember the teacher was not, but teacher is always behind. So if we want to develop those products, then we should shed our egos, sit with the industry and ask the industry to come on a single platform, so that we should give a product which should be excellent and industry specific. Whatsoever Dr. Saab has said, I think I have written all those things. The first is focusing on the industry ready output. Academia should offer short-term courses to fulfill the gap in industry requirement and curriculum. Now this is one thing I said. It's practically not possible that change every curriculum. But it can be practically possible that if you got a 50 students batch, I want to run a short-term course on automobile. I can give a 6 months course specifically related to the automobile industry. I can give a 6 month course specifically related to the cycle industry or a cement industry, whatsoever it is, depending on the number of students. Today, oil and natural gas, ONGC, they have started their own institute. Why? Because they were not getting the product of their choice from the market. Birla, they started their own institute because they were not getting the product from outside as per their needs. We as institute, we started our own institute because we were not getting the product outside. So why not produce us? So if every industry started their own institute, where the ITI will go? That's a question. Where the ITI will go? Because all these, then ITI will be there for a middle level companies or the small level companies and salaries. Then you will not get that hefty package of 1 crore rupees or something like this. So the need is instead why industry should spend on education, which is altogether a different field for the industry. Why not an education institute and industry come parallel? We are outsourcing so many things from the different field. Why not we should also join hand together for outsourcing from a particular institute or human resource as well. So then second, academia should plan guest lectures. Is that the same? Guest lectures for the young aspirants. The guest lectures should be somewhat more detailed and practical. It should not be just a simple guest lecture or a day. It should be detailed, more thorough and practical. More so, everything is there, but what basically is in my mind, all academicians, they should undergo industrial training. That is the basic. They should undergo industrial training because we are, as educationalists, we are very good at our job. But what exactly is today's industry need? Unless and until we enter into there and understand, we cannot inculcate that to the product. So, all educationalists, whosoever, they should be given industrial exposure at least once in 1 year, maybe for 10 days, 15 days or 20 days. In all the departments, that what exactly in the industry requires. Probably we are ready as an industry to put funds in because we are already doing. Now research, R&D, from the last 10 years probably that industry-academia relationship in R&D has started. R&D has CSIO, NIPERS, PGI, AIMS, all these medical institutes, research institutes. Now there are a lot many projects which are going. Of Pfizer, even Ranbaxy, Novartis, lot many other companies, pharmaceutical, even in automobile also. Lot many industries now they are partnering with the R&D institutes. Previously, what was happening? I talked to Kulkarni, I think 3-4 years back. Frustration as a basic part because they were doing government funding was there. They are doing research. But that research was back in DIPAs in the early years. That was not coming out. Even it's a food for thought today for us. 62 years of our independence. How many research-oriented products we could able to introduce into the market? In any of the field. We call ourselves a service nation or the industrial nation, but how many products we could be able to give to the Indian market or the global market are research based. We are a copycat because of the lack of political approach, because of the lack of infrastructure, and because of the lack of recognition to the research and lack of and the gap between industry academia relations. Otherwise, all those research which are lying at CSI or CSIR or PGI or university campuses, they could have been into the market in a much more better way. And we could be proud of having few Nobel Prize winners as well. But all those things, they required a complete open mind, open approach. Then again, Dr. Saab said mock interviews by the industry at the middle of the term to assess deficiencies and recommended remedies. Training to the trainers to handle skill gaps on a longer run. Faculty motivation and industrial interface. So everything, requires motivation as well. So we recommend faculty motivations in the shape of rewards, incentive, monetary or any kind. So they should also be completely motivated by the industry so that they should give product as an industry ready product. Then industrial visit to the trainee and faculty to understand product processes and plans. Then training modules for superlative skills like communication, reporting and customer services. The assessment of the faculty by the industry to identify requirement to the skill enhancements. Industry ready certification by the industry. It should also be, that's also a reward and incentive. Then industrial training to the faculty, I told you already. To inculcate the entrepreneur skill in the students, entrepreneurship cells and incubation centers should be developed and focus should be made on seminars on entrepreneurship. So all those things, I think we are on a right path as far as the discussion part is concerned. But the only thing is, we should be right part on the implementation front as well on our recommendation to the industry, to the government, to the faculties and to the institutes that they should come. Northern institutes, they should talk about the northern industry or the southern industry. They should not be South India, North India, that's a one India. I'll say that. So, all industries should be open to every institute, those who can produce best product. Then there is no particular IITs or IIMs. Everybody can be IIT, everybody can be IIM, depending upon how we take up the things. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you so much.